everybody, May 23rd. It's Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock, which means time for our tile, which is today number 548. So I thought, being that we did a bit of lace design on Hobby Maker yesterday, I'd introduce you to a little bit of it. So you can do this on any colour tile. It looks pretty on anything, but I just thought I'd stick with that crafty colour tile that I'd used yesterday and a white pen. So I'm going to go straight in with the white pen. Or do I want to? Maybe I'll come in with pencil first and put a bit of a border in there. So just to give me something to work to. So, okay, here we go. I'm going to use my little ruler here. Now, it's not very often we put a border in, is it? I must admit these days. So I've opted to go for that round corner there. It said that doesn't matter, you don't have to. You can come in with a regular border, that's absolutely fine. And you can make it big as small as you like. I want to get some stuff in the middle of this. So let's give it a little bit of a thinner one, not too thick there. Okay, so that gives me that. I've put it in pencil because I might change a few bits later on, and depends on how I feel about whether I'm going to come in or out. So the first things first, I want to make sure that my pen's going to work. So I've got my gel pen, my 08, and let's make a start. So it doesn't matter where we're going to go from. I'm going to come in from about here. And I'm going to put myself a little bit of a curved line in. And then let's put another curved line in, like so. So that's the first port of call. And I'm just going to join that at the bottom there. Hello, Glennies. Hello, everybody. I've got Maureen on there. Hi. Okay. So a bit of a film. Be careful when you're filling in with gel pen because it takes a while to dry and go a bit gloopy if you keep going over it. We don't want to be doing that. So there's our first little bit. And at the top of this, I'm going to come in with a loop. Don't make it too small. Okay, a loop. And I can put myself a loop inside that one. And then I'm going to follow through with part loops all the way down. See how it sort of joins all around, all the way to bottom there. And again, now I'm not going to put a full loop in there. Let me just zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to sort of go from there in, like that, see? So it's a sort of giving it a bit of a frame on that edge, like so. Okay, little one there, look. And similar on the other side, I'm going to sort of follow that shape. So it's going to be a little bit bigger there, but then it takes off on the same kind of little designs as we work our way down. But again, little loop shapes all the way down. Okay, so inside these little gaps here, I'll do it on this one first. I'm going to put some little zigzags. Imagine that you've machined it with a zigzag stitch. So we'll do that on all of them. Don't make them too sort of wide. Make sure that it touches top and bottom as you work your way around those shapes. See, it doesn't take long. And just follow those curves round. So I'm going to do these first. See, when you're using a gel pen, if you go too close, they can merge a little bit. So, you've got to gauge the size there, depending on what you're using to draw with. You could get it a lot closer with a fine liner pen. So it works in like that. All right. So, of course, top one then. Now, I'm going to start here and go round like so. And then when I get down this bit, I'm going to keep it going way to the bottom. That's the best way to do it. So let's get another one of those in. I'm going to come up here. Do another one. And again, fill it in. When I fill in, I try and, it's almost like zigzags, real close together. And then it fills it in. And because it's going this way, I'm going to put my loop that way. And again, look, here we go with that. So working my way down, same as before. Each one, little shape. Same on this side. Only till I can't really do any more. And then a little frame in the middles. Like so. Same on this side. Now I know if you wanted to, you could leave them like that, that's fine. But I'm going in with those zigzag shapes again. It needs to look a little bit stitched there. And wandering round. So I had another really great journey last night coming home. It's almost 3.5 hours for a 1 hour, 50-minute drive. The amount of roadworks going on at the minute is crazy. And then trying to get 4 lanes to go into 1 lane, you know, civilly. A little bit of respect for each other is a little bit crazy. Look at that. Let's move out a little bit so you can see it. Let's bring one in here. Okay. And we're going to fill that in again. See, real close zigzags going all the way up until I run out of space. Then a loop on the end and a little loop on the inside like that. So far so good. I think we've got the hang of these now. So I'm going to come down, putting those shapes in. Same on this one. Right. And along we go with those. Same on this side. Into those bits. So there you're not really going to see anything. And then again, in we go. Little zigzags. Doesn't matter which side you start from. You're not really going to see them. It's going to be part of the whole image. Just sort of work your way around. There we go. See all the way down. You get quite quick at this, actually, once you sort of gauge the size. It's muscle memory kicking in then. There we go, see? Okay, so we've got those going on. So let's bring something up and out of this. I'm going to kind of bring a little stem there. And then a little, I say a cup on the top there, but what you want to do is make it enough so you can get another one inside. Like that. And then a loop on the top. Okay, then each side I'm going to come up and create a curl. Like that. Similar on the other side, look up, create a curl. Then I'm going to take that point down to there. And that point down to there. And then another one inside, so you can do it as 1, 2 steps. Or you can do it as one complete shape. Whatever makes it more comfortable for you. And I'm going to put myself frame inside there. And then I'm going to put myself a little bit of a grid inside. Lines that way, and lines that way. Giving myself a little bit of shape there. So let's do another one of those. I'm going to come up here. And again, look, put that cup on. Another one on the inside. And I loop. Now here you see I'm going to go out of my frame. So rather than go over the pencil, I'm going to get rid of it. I We'll put that frame in a little bit later, look, and I can put my loop in. And we might get rid of a little bit more on the sides there. Then up, and round, stop, and back down. Unless you want to do it all in one go. And another one underneath. Following with a little shape inside. And then again, little lines. And little lines. Okay, let's do another one. I'm going to bring another one of these leaves out here, I think, because it sort of needs another one. Again, like I'm going to start there now, see if that's any different. Oh, that felt weird. I left a couple of gaps. Loop. And again, like I'm going to sort of go out. Loop inside. So just getting rid of that pencil before I put my white on, it means that I'm not trying to rub out any pencil marks that's underneath the white. And we go. So same thing, look. Follow it round each one. Now you might find that you've got enough of these and you don't have to add another one. I'm happy putting that one in there. I think it needed an extra one that side. Alright. So we're doing anything special for the bank holiday? We're going out, hoping it's going to be sun. I don't know.
You are, master.
Oh, give over. Thank you. There's my cup of tea. Alright, zigzags. And I'm going to put another one of those shapes in there, look. Now, decision to make really, because so far everything's gone out of that border. So this time I'm going to stop it so it looks like it's going underneath. It's one of the benefits of having it. See, I'm imagining that line there, because you can decide what goes beyond it and what stays within it. So it gives it a little bit of depth to get us going. Oh, back in with that grid. And that one. Okay. I'm going to get some kind of thinnish loops around the piece. So within there, I'm going to put myself a line around the outside of each one. Okay. Like that. I'm just sort of bringing this pattern in around the edge. I'm giving myself those little zigzags around that one. So you notice I've not sort of zigzagged the stems. I've not gone completely crazy. What you can do with these though is you can put some little dots, around the edges. I'm not going to do that on, let's go in a little bit. I'm going to do that on the leafy shapes. There you go, look. But I think on these little loops, I'm going to do that. Of course, I know there's other things underneath it. Because you're filling it in, you can go all the way around. Go over the top of things if you want to. Okay. So I'm going to get the sort of the top end of one here. So I'll put that inside there. As long as you've got two lines. And again, let's put those little dots in place. Maybe one there, look. You've got to decide on your piece where you want to put them. And if you think there's a need for them, I think it's nice to have something a bit different, showing those little details there. And so I'm going to have one sort of showing the bottom section there. So again, zigzags, look, and little dots. Just be careful that you're not putting your hand over it and leaning on it, because of course it's gonna smudge a little bit if you do that. Okay, so at this moment I'm going to come in and put the border in, but what I am going to do is just ease it off. I want it a bit paler than what it is there, because I'm going to go back over, see, with my pen. Now, your choice, you can come back in with the ruler, or you can do it freestyle. Let's go for it, I think. And I'm going to aim for that little bit there. And down there. I'm not going to try and do the curve. I'm going to turn my paper and then do the curve. Stop there for a break, look. Part in, round, and down. Okay. So around the edge there, let's go in a little bit more. If it'll let me. There you go. I'm going to put like a little pop bump on the inside. You can do it on the outside if you want. It'll give you a slightly different feel. But whatever works for you, it's fine. Follow it round. I'm not going over what's already there. I'm not going to worry about all of that. It'll just get complicated. Well, here, you know, because that looks like it's going underneath, maybe we're going to have to work over. Okay. So just in the background, I just want to make sure it's dry. More or less. I'm going to bring that ruler back in. And I'm going to kind of draw in a little bit of a grid in the background. I mean, if you'd rather do this in pencil first or measure it out, don't forget we've got lots of grid stencils, so maybe you want to mark the dots so you know where you're going with it. And of course, if you use a white gel pen, you can scratch it off a little bit. If you find that you've gone inside something you didn't want to go inside, so that you're not going to get much more out of that there. Okay. See, that one looks like it's going under there. That's better. And then the other way. So again, I'm just doing it by eye. I'm not trying to get it exactly perfect. It's just a little bit of a background in there. So, you've got to sort of imagine. That's it, that one's going to go there, look. It's easy to check, or do it in pencil first before you get carried away. If I've missed a bit, it's not a problem. See, look there, I've gone inside. We'll sort that out in a minute. And way along. So let's have a look, see if I come in and have a bit of a scratch. That's it, so it's dulled it a bit, and then when, of course, I come in and put the shading in, look, a bit better. See there, look, I've missed a line, but I can put that in. And there we go. Okay, so look at that. So let's put the lid on that and bring a bit of pencil in, see what we can do with it. Sipper tea, of course. Okay, so let's look first of all, let's go in and a bit feel like me, at the little leaves that we did. So I'm going to pick the sort of the top of each of those shapes. Put some pencil in. See, I'm on the inside there. And same on these ones. So it's almost keeping to the same routine if I can, putting that piece in there. Even when I go round there, I'm going to sort of try and do top a little bit more. Okay. So same with this one. So here I'm going to see that bit, look. It's kind of the top, isn't it? So little bits. They're not very big pieces, so you don't need much. So make sure your pencil's at least, you know, it's got a bit of a point on it. That means you're going to get enough in there for what you need. Okay, let's have a look at these loops then. So the loops actually, because these, okay, I'm going to go that way and there. A little bit in there, so down the stem. I'm going to go across that grid. A little bits of a sort of a highlight in those. Same or similar in this one. Let's put that highlight in there. Little bits in there. Top, stem. So this one, a little bit there, look. In there, and stem. So then, looking at my little sort of scalloped edge, I'm going to come in and put some around that. Notice I'm not particularly colouring now. I'm basically redrawing those designs. I'm not going to have that going over the top there. So giving myself a line around that one. See, that's sort of gone over the top there. And there we've got some that do go over. Remember, I drew them over the top, so let's put them in. And almost there. On there, look. Okay. So, in the background there, actually, yeah, I'm going to do everything at once. I'm going to choose a side. So, let's go with this one. And every one of those that I can see, I'm going to put that pencil in. Okay, see, following each one as a separate little section. That same line on each. Okay, and then the next one, so it's giving me like a little V at the top there. Doesn't matter which ones you use, as long as once you've chosen, you stick to it. In and along each one, even those little bits there. Okay, that one. Okay. Oh, did I miss one there? Yes. Okay, so when you use the Tortillon, if I was to use this one that's got graphite on it, what you'll find is it'll be fine. You could do a bit of grey. So that's okay, but if you were going to use white chalk pencil for shading instead of where I've used the black, then you would need a clean Tortillon. Just to remind you, because some of you might decide you want to use white to actually give it a little bit of shade. But if you do, use a clean one, because otherwise it's going to go a bit grey. Working on this though, I have come in with pencil. I mean, if you're using a black tile, then you would need to use your white chalk, wouldn't you? Let's soften all these out. Doesn't need much because they're quite small pieces. The majority of it's sort of not that white anyway. See, it sort of eases it down. I'm coming around and doing those top bits first. I'm going to leave the background till I've done all those. And bringing in those little loop shapes. See, sort of swirling with them, wanting to fill part of it but not all. There you go. Stems are they're too thin to do anything with, so please don't worry about trying to shade them or anything like that. They just sort of needed a bit of pencil on. And they're fine. Okay, that's my loops, mostly. So let's get that background in. I missed a bit there, but I've got enough on my Tortillon to deal with that. So I've not done the sort of the scalloped edge yet. I thought I'd come in and do these bits first. And then I can do that one afterwards. So notice I'm going all one way first. And then I'm going to do, oh sorry, not the camera. All this way. Let's see. Gives it that little bit of shape, doesn't it, in the background. Okay, little bits. Okay, so I'm gonna come in now and just do a sort of a couple of moves over the top of that pencil and the edges there. I want, rather than doing it straight, see, I'm trying to keep the shape of that little sort of scallop there. So I know it's a little bit longer taking in terms of time, but it'll give you a better result because it's going to follow that shape round. And about you, I'm ready for a lie-in. It's been quite a week. Okay, let's have a little look at that. All right, that's I don't really want to do much more there, but I think what I will do is I'm going to come around just two of the sides. You can choose any two, doesn't matter. But just two of them. And then I want to move it a little bit, so let's give it a little bit of a roll around there. And same along here. So I've kind of gone opposite to where, you know when I did the shading here? Done the tops, I've done sort of the sides this time, so keeping it similar. And just to finish off, just straighten it off a little bit. And straighten it off a little bit. There you go, there's your piece of lace. I think here, let's come in and add some shading around that because I want it to look like it's standing up a little bit. And then this one where it's over the top of that one, let's establish that that is what's happening there. A little bit there, look, because it's doing the same thing there. And then underneath here, it's all those extra little details that makes the difference. I'm not really going to shade it much, just very gently get back and forth. Certainly not here, I don't want it to be too overshadowed there. It just needs to be a little bit softer. And, oh, awesome. Under there maybe. Put there. All done. So there's your miniature piece of lace. Real good practice, and it's going to keep you busy until your stencils arrive. Thank you so much yesterday for your support, and for those of you who watch Crafters TV as well. So, okay, all's left to say, have a lovely weekend. It's a long one for most of you, so enjoy. Hope the weather's nice. Take care, and I will see you back here on Tuesday for our next tile. Okay, see you. Bye.